SupaTea podcast show. Yay. So before I get started, it's a new moon. This is new moon energy. So what does that mean? That just means the way the planet is positioned right now, the energetic forces, they are always there, but it's a time where a lot of people have raised the tide, and how they have raised the tide is by putting their attention to the fact that the moon is at this stage of renewal. And by a lot of focused energy, mentally, mindsets, towards the fact that the moon is new, allows um, others to tap into that co-creation. And when people are tapping into that co-creation, that energy that we are emitting from us with our thoughts and with our attention on a fact, you know, we are able to utilize that beneficially. And we can utilize that beneficially by focusing on our own intentions, by the things we want to have in our life. And we can really, 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 really attract those things by being grateful for all that we have right here, right now. So, first and foremost, I would like to say for all that I am extremely grateful. I reconnected, and you've been seeing me here and there reconnect a bit with one of my loves, one of my passions. But one of my loves and passions is dance, people. And I was always, I wouldn't say always, but for several decades, um, I would just maybe break out in a little fancy two step, allow divinity to kind of move through me a little bit. But I would always like retreat back to that old me that injured me. And now I am no longer claiming that. Now I am claiming full recovery. You see behind me with the diagrams that I have been educating myself, on my physical body, not just on my physical body. Obviously, before I start educating myself on my physical body, I was educating myself on my mental body, on my spiritual body, which is how I became to be who I am today. And I am still growing. I am still becoming even more better and better me. So this is Soulful Sunday here at the Super Tea Podcast Show. I have decided that even though my muscles are recovering, they have been reactivated, and I am going to move as my soul and as my spirit moves me to move. When I put on some music and I feel like I need to move to this music, I'm going to move to the music, and I'm televising it because I want to see my growth. I'm hoping that it inspires others to also push past their limitation, push past any injuries, push past any trauma, push past the past. Because if you don't push past the past, baby, you gonna stay in a loop. You're gonna stay in a loop doing the same thing over and over and over and over again. But if you want to experience something better, experience something new, experience the things that you love, experience, I dare say, freedom. You have to push past the past. And this is the perfect time to do that, okay? So that is my declaration here on this new moon, in this new moon energy. You know that we are continuing to read Seed of the Soul. Okay, let me mirror this so that you can actually see what this says. Okay, perfect. We're continuing now. Sorry, YouTube. I don't know how to mirror. Can I mirror YouTube video? I'm not even sure. Maybe I can. Lighting, highlight. I can flip the camera. It doesn't look like I can mirror it. Okay, that's fine. We're reading Seed of the Soul. We are currently we're getting through this book quite a bit. We're going into chapter 10, addiction, a very interesting chapter. So I have some Joe here, and I also have some chlorophyll water. This is my favorite way to get myself hydrated, chlorophyll water. And I meant to bring my chlorophyll drops. They in the refrigerator. Did I bring them with me? Over here, it might be behind this tablet. I thought I took them out the refrigerator. I might have took them out and stuck them inside of, stuck it like by here. I'll bring them before the live is complete. And I just was doing some content dancing, which is why I have on what I have on, which doesn't need an explanation anyway. But just letting you know, you're like, I'm gonna come in here like Soulful Sundays. Hold up, wait a minute. Typically, she got on her hair is tied up, and she just listen. Fashion is a form of art to me. Music is a form of art to me. Hey, icon. So, you don't know what you're going to get, okay? All I can tell you is that you are going to get authentic me, however I am feeling in the moment, okay? And I am a lady. I am a woman, okay? I go through changes constantly, okay? Ovulation, menstruation, follicular stuff is happening in my womb at different times. I go through different um, modes of me. So I'm going to express me in my most happiest, authentic way at all times. That's what you're going to get. Authentic me. That's what you're going to get. Authentic me. So don't get comfortable with me looking any one type of way, okay? Because I'm going to change my looks, okay? So just so you know, like, oh my God, listen, this does not have nothing to do with you. This is me. I felt like dancing. I felt like putting on something to dance with. I felt like doing a little modeling. I felt like doing that today, so I did it, and I published it on my Instagram. So if you want to see it, go to my Instagram and see it. But otherwise, if you're here for Soulful Sundays, well, let's begin. We're on chapter 10, addiction. You cannot begin the work of releasing an addiction until you can acknowledge that you are addicted. Until you realize that you have an addiction, it is not possible to diminish its power. The personality rationalizes its addictions. It dresses them in attractive clothing. It presents them to itself and others as desirable or beneficial. A person who is addicted to alcohol, for example, will say to himself or herself or to others that drunkenness is a way of loosening up, of relaxing after a tense day, or of having fun, and therefore it's constructive. A person who is addicted to sex will say to herself or himself or to others that random sexual encounters are expressions of closeness or love, that they reflect an evolved and liberated perception, and therefore they are desirable. Recognition of your own addictions require inner work. It requires that you look clearly at the places where you lose power in your life, where you are controlled by external consequences and circumstances. It requires going through your defenses, even when striving for clarity or when outer circumstances, such as an injury caused by drinking drunk or a marriage wrecked by promiscuity, provides evidence of an addiction as a mere problem. Initially, as a small problem, then as a bigger problem, and then as a significant problem. Why does the personality resist acknowledging its addictions? Acknowledging an addiction, accepting that you have an addiction, is acknowledgement that part of you is out of control. The personality resists acknowledging its addiction because that forces it to choose to leave a part of itself out of control or to do something about it. Once an addiction has been acknowledged, it can't be ignored and it cannot be released without changing your life, without changing your self image, without changing your entire perceptual and conceptual framework. We do not want to do that because it's our nature to resist change. Therefore, we resist acknowledging our addictions. An addiction is not merely an attraction. It is natural for males and females to admire each other, for example, and to feel a warmth and attraction towards each other. An addiction is more than that. An addiction is characterized by magnetism and fear. There is an attraction plus fear plus a jolt of energy that is out of proportion to the situation. Attractions are a pleasing part of life. They can be satisfied and left behind, but addictions cannot. An addiction cannot be satisfied. A sexual addiction, for example, cannot be satisfied by sex. This is the first clue that the dynamic that is involved in what appears to be a sexual addiction is not sexual, but that the experiences of addictive sexual attraction or repulsion serves a deeper dynamic. An addiction can be a, uh, what the fuck? I don't even know what this word is, people. This is gonna take me a while. Anesthetized. Let's bring it back to elementary. Anesthetized. Okay, anesthetized. An addiction can be anesthetized. 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 That's the first time I've seen that word, people. I don't know what it means, but a context clue means that it can be suppressed. Is that what they mean, suppressed? Why did they just say suppressed? And I'm picking that up from the next sentence. Here's the following sentence. A sexual addiction, for example, can be made dormant within a relationship by a fear of losing the security of the relationship, but it cannot be healed without a recognition that it is there and an understanding of the dynamic that lies beneath it. Unless this takes place, it will break through the relationship or the facade of monogamy at those moments when the personality feels most insecure or most threatened. At these times, the personality will feel a sexual attraction to others. Sexual addictions are the most universal within our species because the issues of power are tied so directly to the learning of sexuality within the human structure. Sexuality and the issue of power were created within our species to complement each other. This is why each human being who is sexually out of control actually has issues of power in which he or she is out of control with his or her own power. At heart, they are identical. A person cannot be in his or her own power center and be sexually out of control or dominated by the sexual energy current. These cannot exist simultaneously. What is the dynamic behind sexual addiction? The experience of addictive sexual attraction is a signal to the experiencer that in the moment he or she is experiencing powerlessness and is desiring to feed upon a weaker soul. Whoa, I wasn't prepared to see that. Ooh. This is the dynamic beneath all addictions. Ooh, they desire to prey upon a soul that is more shattered than oneself. Ooh, this is as ugly to look at as it is to experience, but it is the central core of negativity within our species. Ooh. So the central core of negativity within our species is addiction in various ways and forms. If that ain't deep, I don't know. Sex without reverence, like business without reverence, and politics without reverence, and any activity that is done without reverence, reflect the same thing. One soul preying upon another weaker soul. The way out of sexual addiction, therefore, is to remind yourself that when you feel that attraction, that you are in that moment powerless and desiring to prey upon a soul that is weaker than yourself. Woo! Deep. Tell that to the big honchos that's going in. And when I say big honchos, I'm not just talking about guys. I'm talking about the girls too. That's just going around and using their sex to dominate people. They're actually preying upon people and souls that are weaker than them. Whoa, whoa, whoa. It takes celibacy to a whole nother level, huh? Or even just self control to a whole nother level. Whew. It's like, oh, the cure of the world is to end all addictions. Well, no wonder, duh, why we see addiction be such a forefront right now, all over the place, and in many forms and in many ways. This book is talking about sexual addiction, but addiction comes not only in sex, it comes with food, it comes with drugs, it comes with a whole bunch of stuff. So it's like, oh, end addiction and take the negativity, like eradicate negativity a lot. I don't know. I'm just connecting the dots. I'm just connecting the dots. Let's get back to the book. In other words, when you are feeling the draw of a sexual addiction, consider simultaneously that you are in a mode of powerlessness that causes a desire to use others to surface within you. That desire feels like a sexual attraction. Remind yourself clearly of what it is that is being ignited in you. That does not mean that you do not physically feel a connection or an attraction, but underneath it, what causes you to want to act is a different dynamic, one of powerlessness. Allow this consciousness to penetrate deeply within you so that at that point, if you want to act on your addiction, you need to walk through your own reality. What does that mean? If you are married or in a monogamous relationship, remind yourself that acting upon your impulse may or will cost you your marriage or your relationship. Ask yourself if what you want to do is worth that. If you are healthy, remind yourself that acting upon your impulse may cost your health, because you do not know whether or not the person that you have chosen carries a disease such as AIDS. Ask yourself if what you want to do is worth that risk. Remind yourself that the partner to whom you are most likely drawn is drawn equally to others, as are you. That he or she has no more feeling for you than you have for him or her. You can be assured that this is the case because the sexual attraction that you have felt for this person is a response in you of a weakness detection system, so to speak, that you have used to scan those around you. When it locates a person who is weak enough to be susceptible to you, to be seduced by you, it triggers within you the experience of sexual attraction. Will you advance your masculinity or your femininity by exploiting the weakness of this person? Will that gain you what you want to gain? Remind yourself that you both have chosen to interact sexually in ways that do not ignite your feelings, because if your feelings were awakened, they would only let you know that the person you are drawn to is no more emotionally involved with you than you are with him or her. It is one thing to think that you are sexually involved with someone and not feeling anything. It is another to face that neither is your partner feeling anything for you. Look closely at the dynamic in which you are involved, and you will see that when one soul seeks to prey upon a weaker soul and a weaker soul responds, both souls become the weaker soul. Whoa. Who preys upon whom then? The logic of the five sensory personality can't get this. But the higher order logic of the heart sees it clearly. Is there truly a difference when two consciousnesses are trying to link into a dynamic that ultimately will lead to balance when both have identical missing pieces? What causes the need to dominate, for example, is the same that causes the need to be submissive. It is merely the choice of which role the soul wishes to play in working out the identical struggle. Enter into your own fear, into your own sense of wanting a drink or sex with a different person. Ask yourself to seriously review all of the times in your life that you thought you would gain so much from that and face what you have gained. Hold on the thought that you create your experiences. Your fear comes from the realization that a part of you is creating a reality that it wants, whether you want it or not, and the feeling that you are powerless to prevent it. But that is not so. This is critical to understand. Your addiction is not stronger than you. It is not stronger than who you want to be. Though it may feel that way, it can only win if you let it. Like any weakness, it is not stronger than the soul, nor the force of will. Its strength only indicates the amount of effort that needs to be applied towards the transition, towards making yourself whole in that area of your life. Recognize that what you are doing when you fear that you will be tempted and that you will not be able to resist the temptation is creating a situation that will give you permission to act irresponsibly. It is possible to create a test that you cannot pass. Yeah. The experience of wanting to be tempted in order to test yourself is the act of creating an opportunity to act irresponsibly. To say to yourself, I knew I couldn't do it anyway, and give into your addiction. The heart of making a temptation that is greater than you can resist is that you do not wish to be held responsible for your choice. But we all are responsible for our choices. The greater the desire of your soul to heal your addiction, the greater will be the cost of keeping it. Hmm. Oh, thank you. Mr. Gemini, thank you. If you, if your soul have chosen to heal an addiction now, you will find that the decision to maintain your addiction will cost you the things that you hold most dear. If that is your wife or your husband, your marriage will be placed in the balance against your addiction. If that is your career will be placed in the balance. This is not the doing of a cruel universe or a malicious God. It is a compassionate response to your desire to heal, to become whole. It is the compassionate universe saying to you that your inadequacies are so deep that the only thing that will stop you will be something of equal or greater value in opposition to your inadequacies. This is the same dynamic that is expressed in terms of space and time and matter by the second law of motion. A change in the momentum, mass, direction of movement, and speed of a body in motion is directly proportional to the force affecting the body in motion and taking place in the direction that the force is acting. And please forgive my smoke alarm, okay? I don't even know if I could reach it. I have a ladder. I don't even know if I could reach it. I really don't, because the ladder ain't that tall and my ceilings are high here. So I have batteries. Batteries is not the issue. The issue is that the batteries need to be changed. So once more, please forgive the smoke alarm in the background. Let's get back to the book. Um, it is the compassionate universe saying to you that your inadequacies are so deep that the only thing that will stop you will be something of equal or greater value in opposition to your inadequacies. This is the same dynamic that is expressed in the terms of space and time and matter by the second law of motion. A change in the momentum of a body in motion is directionally proportional to the force affecting the body in motion and takes place in the direction that the force is acting. By the magnitude of the cost of your addiction, you can measure the importance of healing it to your soul and the strength of your own inner intention to do that. Try to realize and truly realize that what stands between you and a different life are matters of responsible choice. In your moments of fear, what you are obscured about in your thinking is the power and magnitude of your own choice. Recognize what your own power of choice is. What a power indeed. You are not at the mercy of your inadequacy. The intention that will empower you must come from a place within you that suggests that you are indeed able to make responsible choices and draw the power from them. That you can make choices that empower you and not disempower you. That you are capable of acts of wholeness. Test your power of choice because each time you choose otherwise, you disengage the power of your addiction more and more, make it weaker, and increase your personal power means you are stronger more and more. As you work through your weaknesses and you feel levels of addictive attraction, ask yourself the critical questions of the spirit. If by following these impulses, do you increase your level of enlightenment? Does it bring you power of the genuine sort? Will it make you more loving? Will it make you more whole? Ask yourself these questions. If you need to pause, because unfortunately on TikTok there will not be a replay, but here on YouTube there will be a replay. And if you want to see the replay of this episode and all previous episodes, then subscribe to my YouTube channel. If you need to pause and listen to that again, listen to that again. But I'm going to say that again for those who are watching live on TikTok right now. As you work through your weaknesses and you feel levels of addictive attraction, ask yourself the critical questions of the spirit. If by following those impulses, do you increase your level of enlightenment? Does it bring you power of the genuine sort? Will it make you more loving? Thank you, True. Will it make you more whole? Ask yourself these questions. This is the way out of an addiction. Walk yourself through your reality step by step. Make yourself aware of the consequences of your decisions and choose accordingly. When you feel in yourself addictive attraction of sex or alcohol or drugs or anything else, remember these words. You stand between the two worlds of your lesser self and your full self. Your lesser self is tempting and it's powerful. It is not as responsible and not as loving and not as disciplined. So it calls you. This other part of you is whole and more responsible and more caring and more empowered, but it demands of you the way of the enlightened spirit. Conscious life. Conscious life. The other choice is unconscious permission to act without consciousness. It is tempting. What choose you? If your decision is to become whole, hold that decision. You will not be as tempted or as frightened as you think. Hold it. Remind yourself again and again and again and again and again and again. You stand between your lesser self and your whole self. Choose with wisdom. Become the power because the power is now fully in your hands. Do not underestimate the power of consciousness. If you live and make conscious choices, consciousness is to know, okay? I know that a lot of people are using that to be manipulative of others, but I encourage you to explore that word yourself, for yourself, by yourself. Don't always feel like you need to be in a group of others to understand something. You do not. If you have God and you have Christ right within inside of you, whatever you have any confusion about, whatever you need any clarity on, you can go right within. You could go straight to source, to God, and ask God to bring you clarity, to break it down in a way that you realize the meaning of it, and you are not just going by the definition that other people are giving you of something. Because I met a sister not too long ago who had some horrible experiences within the conscious community, and I want to say first and foremost, I am so grateful that I always, no matter what school of thought I studied, I always had something internal inside of me that felt when something was not right, and I would separate myself. And some people be like, oh, she's a loner, and oh, she's this, and oh, she's that. No, I'm not easily manipulated. That's what I'm not. So just because I'm exploring deeper into reality, you claim to be exploring deeper, but your actions are going to show me whether you really are. Because when you really go deeper, you become more loving. You become more a healthier version of yourself. You begin to change, and not just on the outside. You begin to change from the inside. How you are thinking, how you are feeling, how you are responding to things. Those things change from the inside, not just the outside. You don't just change the outside. Oh, I'm not going to do this. I'm not going to do that. No, 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 no. Why? Why aren't you doing it? Why? Why not? What's the reason? You're not going to treat people the same way. You ain't going to talk about people the same way you talk about people. When you were unhealed, a healed person and an unhealed person looks at things totally different, responds to things totally different, sees things. Their perception is totally different. They could be looking at the same thing. A healed person looking at two people argue could be like, okay, well, they're having a disagreement. That ain't even none of my business. An unhealed person's go pick a side. They shouldn't do that. They shouldn't do that. Huh? You unhealed. You triggered by something inside of you. You don't even know those people. Mind your business. A healed person, again, is going to look at things, and they could be looking at the same thing, but they're going to look at it from a different perspective. So again, I encourage all of those who are elevating their own personal consciousness to know that that is a personal thing. And if you are so lucky to have a loving, healthy community that is choosing to make that personal, choosing to make that personal decision for themselves, all the better. But it is a personal decision, it is a personal journey, and it is something that you must do alone. And you must do for yourself, by yourself. If, again, you happen to find a loving, healthy community of people that are choosing by themselves, for themselves, to elevate their consciousness, then hats off and kudos to you. But don't just go somewhere because they're saying the words. Actions are going to show you better. Let me get back into this book. Choose with wisdom, because the power is now fully in your hands. Do not underestimate the power of consciousness as you live and make conscious choices each moment and each day. You fill with strength, and your lesser self disintegrates. As you choose to empower yourself, the part of you that you challenge, the temptation that you challenge, will surface again and again. Each time that you challenge it, you gain power and it loses power. If you challenge an addiction to alcohol, for example, and you are drawn 12 times that very day to have a drink, challenge that energy each time. If you look upon each reoccurrence of attraction as a setback or as an indication that your intention is not working, you choose the path of learning through fear and doubt. If you look upon each reoccurrence as an opportunity that is offered to you in response to your intention to release your inadequacy and to acquire power over it. You choose the path of learning through wisdom, for that is what it is. The first time that you challenge your addiction, and the second and the third, you may not feel like anything has been accomplished. Do you think that authentic power can be had so easily? As you hold on to your attention and as you choose again and again and again and again to be whole, you accumulate. Okay, I don't know what they're saying. Consuming substances featuring cycle. What? What they talking about? I'm sorry, I don't know what they talking about. Okay, so I don't know what they talk about. Forgive me to take a moment. Something just popped up on the screen talking about the live is being restricted. And that's why it's being recorded, boo boo, where there ain't no restrictions. Okay? Yeah, it's being recorded, boo boo, and it's gonna be on the replay without any restrictions. But anyway, TikTok got this little thing talk about consuming substances featured in this live could be harmful to your health. We need to reprogram the computers, okay? Because the computers be going cuckoo, cuckoo, cuckoo. Anyway, I answer to the divine, so I don't care nothing about that thing. It just caught my attention, and I just, press the little button, declare it. So we can continue, okay? Again, you can always catch the replay on YouTube. Okay. When you challenge, start this paragraph again. When you challenge an addiction, wait, I'm gonna go up. As you hold to your intention, and as you choose again and again and again and again to become whole, you accumulate power. Oh, I want to see us all in our authentic power. There are the few, it is only a few that wants to take away your authentic power. Those few don't are afraid. Those few are scared that if you come into your authentic power, they have no control over you. Okay? But they ain't supposed to control you. They supposed to control themselves. They missing the picture that we supposed to acknowledge. We ain't here to control others. We're here to control ourselves. So I want to see you in your authentic power. I want to see you in your authentic. Get powerful as you can freaking be. Be the most powerful you that you absolutely can be. Be the healthiest, happiest, powerful version of you. Because that's who's going to create a better world. That's how we're going to make our world better. We're making our world better by making ourselves better first. How can you have somebody that's healed, traumatized, wounded, who haven't went through the process of becoming their better self, have a better world? How? How? Please tell me how. Because it's impossible. The way the world is as a reflection of humanity. It's a reflection of our consciousness. It's a reflection of our inner traumas. It's a reflection of our fear. That's why it is the way it is. And we don't have no control over somebody else's fear, but we definitely have control of our own. We definitely have control of ourselves. I encourage you to step into your authentic power by all and any means necessary. When you challenge an addiction and choose to become whole, you align yourself with your non physical health. The work to be done is yours, but assistance is always available. The non physical world, the actions of your guides and your teachers, touches yours in many ways. The thought that brings power, the memory that reminds, the surprise occurrence that reinforces. There is much joy in the non physical world when a soul releases major negativity and the quality of its consciousness shifts upward into higher frequencies of light. Therefore, do not suffer in aloneness. There is no such thing. Look at yourself as someone who is reaching for healing and at the complexity of what needs to be healed. Do not think that you exist alone without other human beings of equal complexities. All that the human experience is about the journey towards wholeness. Therefore, you can look at each individual and rest assured that they are not whole. They are in the process. Where they were whole, they would not be physical upon our plane. In other words, you have the company of billions of souls. When you have worked hard, take the time to appreciate what you have done. Do not always look at the distance that you have yet to travel. Join your non physical teachers and guides in applauding what you have accomplished. This does not mean to relapse into your addiction, it means allowing yourself to rest when you need it, to recognize when you have become exhausted, and give yourself the grace of knowing that even the best of us get tired. Understanding the dynamics behind your addiction is one thing. Actually making the emotional connection to discharge the need for it is another story. Your addiction is not insurmountable. It is not overwhelming, for it continues to appear that way to you. If it continues to appear that way to you, it is because deep in your heart you do not see yourself as able to release the addiction, even if you understand why you are drawn to it. If your addiction lingers, ask yourself if you really want to release it, because in your heart you do not. Until you fill in the inadequacies within you, you will always have your addiction. In order to release your addiction, it is necessary to enter into your inadequacies, to recognize that they're real, bring them to the light of consciousness so that you can heal from them. It is necessary to look deeply into the parts of yourself that have such power to you, to look clearly of how deep they are within you, and to see them as honestly as you can. It may be that your addiction has provided you one of the few genuine pleasures of your life. What is more important to you? Your wholeness and your freedom, or the pleasures that you get from satisfying your addictions? When you understand that your addiction results from an inadequacy, the question becomes, how will you respond to your inadequacy? By reaching for another drink or another sexual encounter, or by reaching inward for those things that fill the hole. Moving into how strong the power of your addiction is, into how deeply you feel its attraction, and ask yourself if the time is really right for you to release this form of learning. That is for you to ask and answer. You may hear the guidance of your non physical teachers and feel that it offers you a path of higher wisdom. But at the same moment, realize that you are not ready to take that path. You might decide that this is not the right time, that you are not yet strong enough to live a certain way. You might indeed have to face that. Ultimately, you will take the higher path. But if you wish to put the journey off for a day or a week or 7 lifetimes, that is sufficient. Your teachers see from a perspective that do not include time. It is the depth of wisdom for you to know that you will eventually take the path of consciousness. If that is the path that you will eventually take, why wait? Yet, there are times when there is wisdom in waiting as the rest of you prepares for your journey. There's no shame in that decision. The universe does not judge. Eventually, you will come to authentic empowerment. You will know the power of forgiveness. You will know humbleness. You will know clarity, and you will know love. You will evolve beyond the human experience, beyond the earth school, beyond the learning environment of space and time and matter. You cannot evolve. Everything in the universe evolves. It is only a question of which way you choose to learn as you evolve. This is always your choice, and there is always wisdom in each choice. When you return home, when you leave your personality and body behind, you will leave behind your inadequacies, your fears, your angers, jealousies. They do not and cannot exist within the realm of spirit. They are the experiences of the personality, of time, and of matter. You will once again enter the fullness of who you are. You will perceive with loving eyes and compassionate understanding the experiences of your life, including those that seem so much to control you. You will see what purposes they serve, you will survey what has been learned, and you will bring these things into your next incarnation. If you choose to continue with your addiction, you choose to experience negative karma. You choose to create without compassion. You choose to be unconscious. You choose to learn through the experiences that your unconscious intentions create. You choose to learn through fear and doubt because you fear your addiction and you doubt your power to challenge it successfully. If you choose to challenge your addiction, to move consciously towards wholeness, you choose to learn through wisdom. You choose to create your experiences consciously, to align the perceptions and the energy of your personality with your soul. You choose to create within physical reality the reality that your soul wishes to create. You choose to allow your soul to move through you. You choose to allow divinity to shape your world. Allowing divinity to shape your world is the best way to be, I'm just saying. And that applies with everything. Not everybody has the challenge of addiction, but whatever your challenges are, when you tap into divinity consciously and allow that to be your guiding force in everything and all you do, baby, you get through those challenges like, yes, yes, yes. When you struggle with an addiction, you deal directly with the healing of your soul. You deal directly with the matter of your life. This is the work that is required to be done. As you face your deepest struggles, you reach for your highest goal. As you bring to light, heal, and release the deepest currents of negativity within you, you allow the energy of your soul to move directly into and to shape the experiences and events of physical reality, and thereby to accomplish unimpeded its task upon the earth. This is the work of evolution. It is the work that you were born to do. And we are now to the next chapter. I'm gonna put my bookmark. That's actually a bumper sticker. I can't wait to have a bumper to put it on. Pull up to my bumper, baby. And that is this week's episode of Seed of the Soul. Each week we meet here, same place, same time. My studio, aka workout room, that is need of some love and queening, but yet still a space that I honor and I cherish. And I come into every week, and I come into more than once a week to exercise because my legs are recovering. Oh, go healthy legs, go healthy legs, healthy legs, healthy legs, healthy legs, healthy legs. But yes, we meet here live on YouTube, live on TikTok, every Sunday for Soulful Sundays. It has been consistent because I am up to chapter 11. So for 10 weeks, people, 10 weeks, I have been coming here for 10 weeks in a motherfucking row. So for me to dance about it, for me to clap about it. It's time for me to celebrate. Because that's one of my challenges. I have many, um, so many, so many things. So many things. I have so many creative endeavors. Okay, writing, singing, dancing, exercising, painting. I paint. I paint. I paint. I paint. People, I have so many different endeavors. I'm just one creative lady that the divine has put all of this stuff inside of. And I know I cannot like do everything at once, but I am totally convinced that these things are inside of me for me to do these things, to be of service in my own unique way. So the monetization part, I have not gotten together, but I feel like it's gonna come together when it comes together. I'm not even stressing it because all of my needs I have, and I even have some wants, you know. So I'm grateful. I'm grateful for it all. I'm grateful for the process. I am in a healing process myself with my legs. They are recovering. I have shared on my Instagram pages the specific muscles that I am being intentional about healing, and that's why I have these diagrams behind me. I have others inside. Um, they're all over, you know, because I had to educate myself. I had to get intimate with my body, you know, and intimate mean like I had to go deeper and be like, okay, well, why is it like this, and how can it function better, and what am I focusing my mindset on in order to function it better? Where am I putting my thoughts at, you know? And my areas of challenge are within my hips, which ironically we store emotions there. So it's a lot. It's a lot of multi-level evolution that's happening within myself, that is happening, that I'm broadcasting and I'm sharing with the world, because I want the world to know that no matter where you are, no matter who you are, no matter what your circumstances have been, that you can absolutely make the conscious choice and decision for yourself to heal and to become the best version of yourself. No matter what, no matter who. You have that power and you have that ability. So be encouraged and walk in your power simply by making that choice, simply by being intentional each and every day. Thank you for tuning in to the Super Tea Podcast Show. Here, see me next week, every Sunday for Soulful Sundays. It is my pleasure to be of service and to be healing and sharing my healing process and sharing books of wisdom with you all. I hope you cherish these diamonds and these jewels of knowledge. However, don't just be a filing cabinet and store the information. Apply the information by applying practices in your life. What you have learned or what you may have been reminded of today, I want you to implement into a daily practice for your life. Thank you.